Hi, I'm Ron Sullivan, and I am the founder of InPhone. I am making this very raw video because I just wanted to talk to you, our sales representatives, one-on-one, and kind of go over everything from how the company was formed, why it was formed, who is behind the logo, so to speak, and a little bit about our product features and why we have worked really hard to differentiate InPhone from anybody else out there. And I really hope it helps you in your selling process. When you grow a company, a lot of times you have people telling people messages or information, and either it gets misunderstood or lost in the translation, and that's just natural. So what I want to do is just take some time and go over these things that I think are important so that all of you are hearing the same message. You can pause it if you get bored. I'm, I'm going to just do this very raw, so I'm just going to talk. But it's something you can refer back to if you want. Hopefully it's going to allow you to gain more sales. So I'm just going to start off here. I spent about 3 decades in the retail industry, everything from operations to purchasing, with a lot of loss prevention behind it, marketing, and gained a lot of information. I started when I was 16 years old in the retail industry, and it did everything from running large retail stores to managing multiple stores and probably a few thousand employees over the last 3 decades. But I gained a lot of knowledge, and when I decided to finally get out of that arena, um, I started helping some small businesses. And what I found was that um, they had a lot of happy customers, they had a lot of very satisfied clients, but they weren't really taking advantage of those clients by encouraging those clients to send them referrals. So that was one thing that I learned. And of course, there's nothing better than a referral. And there's nothing better than your friend or family member telling somebody, because that's free advertising. So that was the first thing that kind of a light bulb moment went off, where there's really not a tool out there that can work for any business professional in any industry that is kind of a universal product. So that was the first thing that kind of started the process of, can I create something? And then the other thing was gaining the knowledge to know the difference between what web-based products can do and what apps can do, and some of the technology that's out there. Also knowing that technology changes by the day. So how do we create something where we don't have to spend so much money to keep up with competition, and it puts us out of business? So, and ultimately, I wanted something that was user-friendly, because keep one thing in mind: we created InPhone for your client, but ultimately it's for their client. So we have to have a great balancing act between the features we offer have to be effective while being economical, but they also have to be user-friendly. So, there's other things we can do with the product, but is it really going to benefit the ultimate client out there who's using it? And so I think we have a pretty good balance, and I think we've found that right mix of features. And that's kind of what I want to talk about today. So the first thing is, you all know what InPhone is. It is a web-based product. It was first created on a web page that I built, taught myself to build a website. And really what I wanted was a keypad looking product that looked like a phone within a phone, thus InPhone. And the reason I wanted that is it was pretty clear in the last several years that, and I always make this joke, that there's only about 3 things that somebody will turn around for if they leave home without, and that's your wallet or purse, probably your significant other, unless you want to get in a lot of trouble, and your phone. So I wanted it to be a smartphone-based product, and I did not want it to be an app. And the reason is, we first started this with it being considered a digital business card. And the chances of, if we made this an app, the chances of your client saying to their client, go to the App Store and download my digital business card, are somewhere between 0 and minus 20. It's not going to happen. Nobody's going to go to some app store and download someone's business card. So it had to be an easy way to share. Obviously, that was a linked-based product. But it also had to have some functions that a web-based product doesn't normally have. We had to have some proprietary functions to make it a little more attractive. So that was the first thing. And of course, we came out as kind of a digital business card on steroids, I used to call it, because we provided things that a standard digital business card wouldn't do. So now that was number one, and I think we've succeeded at that. We've created a product that, as you can see, I'm going to show you something. We've created a product that looks like a phone within a phone. And it really focuses on three things. It's a promotional tool, it's a referral tool, and it's a kind of an actionable tool, and that's the buttons that we provide. So, as you know, that's InPhone. And we just did a nice upgrade with some of the logo and referral toolbar buttons that we're going to get into. And but that's InPhone. And the beauty of that is it works on a smartphone, it works on a tablet, it works on a TV screen that's a smart TV. It'll even work on an Apple Watch. It'll work on a desktop or laptop. So it's one of the great things about our product that if somebody shares it with another client, they can access it from pretty much anywhere. So let's get into the InPhone itself, our company. When I started this, it was, pretty much just an idea, and I built a keypad-looking product on a web page. It wasn't very attractive. I wouldn't have bought it, but some people did, and because it was new and it was different. I accidentally met my business partner, one of my business partners now, who lives in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I live a little bit south of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I was looking at a condo, and he was the Homeowners Association president. He had the key to the one I wanted to look at, and I met him, and lo and behold, he was in the software business and very successful in what he's done over the decades. And he was very intrigued by what I was trying to do, and probably about a week and a half later, we formed InPhone, where he could create the software piece of it, and I could focus on the operations and marketing and selling. So we have put together a great relationship in terms of the right mix of skills, and ultimately have created a great product. And then from that, we're able to attract people like James Levins and some of the other people that are part of our company now, you included, to market and sell our product. So we're very happy with the progress, and really thrilled about how the future looks, especially with you in it. So that's InPhone. We have our own software. Everything is kind of unique to us, on our own servers that we use, behind our own firewalls. It's a very safe product. One of the things that I want to make sure that you understand, that you can tell your client and look them in the eye, is that we don't collect data about them or their clients. We don't collect it, which means we're not going to sell it, and you're not going to have access to it where it can be sold and they can be getting spammed or anything else. So that's one thing that you can look your client in the eye and tell them, this is a product meant for them, between them and their client. If your client wants to know who's opening their InPhone, we can tell them that somebody opened their InPhone on Facebook or Google or Safari or whatever, at 2:37 p.m. on such and such date. But that's pretty much it. We cannot tell them their name. We cannot tell them their phone number. Of course, we're going to see the IP address, but that's not going to mean much to them. So we can provide data that shows usage, but not down to the actual user and give up private information. So that's a pretty significant thing. We've been told that obviously selling data could be more profitable than some of the other things we do, but it's just something we firmly believe in, and it's just not something we're going to do. So you can rest easy and look your client in the eye, like I said, and tell them that honestly. So the product itself, as I mentioned, it's starting out as a promotional tool. And one of the things that I think is extremely important to your success is being able to say to your client that this area right here, which we call our billboard area, is a flashing slide, and I guess it rotates about every 4 seconds. They can use that in so many ways. It always starts out featuring the representative and the company, kind of like a standard business card, where the company logo is on there and the representative's name and title and their photo if they want. So kind of a standard here's who I am type presentation to the user, just like mine there with our company logo and so forth. Then it can transition into multiple things. It could be a promotion. It could be informational, where it's, hey, we just came out with a new product or a new service or a new vehicle or a new development if you're a realtor, whatever it is, whatever industry you're in, it doesn't matter. It can be something that is a coupon. Clients can have their customers go up to the counter and say, this says if I show you that I have InPhone on my phone that I get 10% off. A restaurant could do that, a pizza shop, an auto dealership can do oil change specials, whatever it is. The nice thing about InPhone is your client just sends a little bit of information on what they want. We create the slide and insert it, and then it's active on every phone that has that specific InPhone on it. So it's a great area for you to talk to your client about. The one thing that we're going to start pushing is, business reviews are a big deal, from Google reviews to Yelp and TripAdvisor and all the other things out there where businesses use those services to promote their reviews and give them some credibility. One of the things that I think we should make sure of is to tell your client, pick 1 or 2 or 3 reviews that you are really proud of and feature them on your slide. In this case, we have one of our realtors who wrote us a review, and we just put their wording and featured it. And it's something that you could tell your client that's a great way to promote the successes they've had, and again, take advantage of that billboard area so that it's promotional, it's informational, and it can generate business for them. So that's the billboard area up there. And again, that's always going to be there, because I always felt that it needs to be something that with a glance, it performs either an informational function or a promotional function, whatever that client wants it to be. The 3 buttons right underneath, which we call the user toolbar, and those 3 buttons are extremely important. The first one on the left, as you're looking at it, is the copy paste feature. So when you or your client or their client touches that button, it's going to change, the wording's going to change to URL copied. That means that the link is live on their device, ready to be pasted and shared with somebody. So if you were to click that link on yours, I'm sure you already know that, but emphasize to your clients that it's so easy to share just by touching that button. And then they can go to text message or email or LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook or however they want to share that message with one or multiple people. They just touch the screen, the word paste will come up, they touch that, and the link is dropped on there, and they can send it off. Again, that's something that an app can't do. You can't share apps like that because ultimately somebody has to go to an app store and download their software so it works on their device. The beautiful thing about InPhone is you don't have to do any of that. The other thing is it doesn't take up memory on a phone like an app does. It's not intrusive to your phone. It's just sitting on your screen, and it's just a touch of a button before all of the features are activated. So that copy paste feature is a big deal because it easily shares the InPhone, and really isn't that the whole purpose of the product, so that that client's information goes out in masses so that they have a better chance of doing business. I mean, that's really the whole purpose of it. And it's going to generate referrals, because if I received someone's InPhone and I'm happy with the business that they provided me, I'm going to feel pretty good about sharing that InPhone with others and saying, this business professional I dealt with is pretty good, and I'm recommending them by sharing their InPhone. Just click the link and save it on your device, and when you need them, here's everything you need to do business with them. So that's a really important button. The middle button, the share via QR code, is again something that, a lot of these things that we're doing, we've listened to clients over the last couple of years on what they think is important and what they would like to have. So the middle button is the share via QR code. And that is just simply, as you touch the button and the QR code for that specific InPhone comes up on the screen. And that's something where if I'm in auto sales, for example, and somebody is out on the lot looking at a new car, and again, you can relate this to any business professional you're talking to in any industry. You meet somebody new, they're a little hesitant to give you their email address, especially their cell phone number, to text them your InPhone. So this is a great way to share it by saying, just open up your camera, hone in on my QR code, and at least it'll drop my InPhone over to your device. And if you need me down the road, or if you have a question, at least you'll remember a couple things. One, you're going to know who you dealt with. My picture's on there, you're going to recognize me again the next time you come in. But two, anything you need to do business is generally on the buttons that we provide, from contacting me to emailing me, texting, to clicking some buttons and actually seeing the products and services, or maybe ordering a product. So it's a great way to share the InPhone without asking somebody maybe too early in the game to give them your cell phone number or email address, or even their name. So that's a pretty important feature. And again, that's something that clients asked for a couple years ago, and we developed this method to share it phone to phone. The last button on the right is one of two ways that clients can save an InPhone onto their device. Now that button says Save in Contacts, and what that will do is it will quickly recognize the type of device that's being used. So if I have an Android, I click it, and all smart devices have a method to save something to the contacts area in their phone. So when it clicks it, it will at least start that first process of saving the InPhone alphabetically in the contact section of the person who's using it and trying to save it. On an iPhone, it's pretty simple. The page comes right up, and you're going to see how it's saved, and it will drop right into the contact section of an iPhone. Androids, there's so many different makes and models, but it still works. It's just a matter of what that specific device is telling you to do. One of the questions that we've been asked recently is, why isn't the cell phone number of the client saved in the contacts when it's saved? we made a decision early on, again, based on a lot of conversations we had with clients, that we would have the InPhone link live in the contacts. Of course, the user's name and so forth, but the live link, because isn't that really why they have the InPhone? So when a client clicks on it in the contacts, it brings up everything that person needs to do business. If they want to text them, they can just hit text. If they want to call them, they just hit call. But if they want to send an email or actually order a product, it's all right in front of them on the InPhone. So we've chosen to just have the live InPhone link because it provides everything they need to do business. And as importantly, let's say you add let's say your client adds a new product or feature to the billboard area. Wouldn't wouldn't your clients want their client to see something new when they open it up instead of just providing a phone number to click on? So it's something that we believe in. It's something that clients have come to really love, that whatever they're doing with their InPhone, it's able to be accessed quickly in the contact section of anyone who saved it. The other way to save it, and the one that I prefer and the one that I think is really important, is for your clients and their clients to save it on the home screen of their device. And again, every smart device has that ability. On an iPhone, it's right at the bottom of the screen. There's a little box with an arrow that brings up the menu on an iPhone. And you just scroll and you'll see Add to Home Screen. And it saves your client's InPhone to the home screen of their client with their customized logo and with their name under it. So it looks like an app on someone's home screen, and when they touch it, it opens up. But again, it's not an app and it's not intrusive on their phone. So that's a huge deal. If it was just a regular web-based product, that icon that appears would only be the website's icon. For example, it would only be an InPhone icon. In this case, it's the logo of the client. We create that logo and that icon specifically for them. So those two saving features are a big deal, and I encourage you to get used to them and get a little bit knowledgeable, not only on iPhones, but on Androids and other devices, on where that button is. It's just a menu button. It's just a matter of where it appears on their screen, on their specific device, to bring up those features. And one of them is always Add to Home Screen. So that's kind of the toolbar area, and it's the reasons why we created some of those buttons. We've kept it to 3 buttons because, again, we want it to be user-friendly. We want anyone to be able to understand how to use an InPhone after they've done it once. Going back to the product itself, one thing I want to mention. We've been asked in the past, well, can it be, can my client change the buttons? They want blue buttons or they want yellow buttons to match their logo or whatever. We made a decision early on, and it's very clear here, to be kind of a dark gray and black product. One, it looks like a phone within a phone. But two, look what stands out. What stands out is the client's colors. This happens to be my personal InPhone, but you can see that what stands out on this and what is really featured is our client and your client. So the rest of it is just, more of a device to do certain actions. But the billboard area, like any billboard you drive by on the road, it should pop out at you. And that's why InPhone is kind of the gray-black, what I call a tuxedo color look, where it's professional looking, but again, is meant to not clash with any other colors that our client has. If we had a shade of blue InPhone, you can bet that one of our clients' blue doesn't match or it clashes and they're going to want something different. We've chosen to just have the standard look that looks professional no matter what colors our clients have on their marketing. So I did want to mention that. The buttons below, and in my case, I think I have 15. Our standard, as you know, is 12 buttons. And the reason that is, and it should never be less than 12. Even if they don't fill up all 12 buttons, our people that create your InPhone for you, for your client, should never have less than 12 buttons. And if you have anybody like that, please ask who's ever creating your InPhone in our company to add 3 more buttons, even if they're blank. The reason is, at least 12 buttons always looks very nice on any type device. It's going to fill up the screen very nicely. It looks like a phone within a phone, and that's the whole purpose of having the 12 buttons. We also found that 12 buttons is about standard for what clients need. Again, after dealing with hundreds of clients and getting feedback, it generally comes down to methods to contact them. And of course, those are those first few buttons up on top here below the toolbar. From calling their company to calling them personally, to being able to text them, email them. Now we've added, of course, text chat and video chat, a few other contact methods like that. So it always starts out with more of a contact type buttons. Then it gets into action buttons that a lot of times either goes to their website or their Facebook page, things that what I call the path to doing business. What is it that your client wants their client to do? And it usually comes down to 3 or 4 or 5 things. So let's say it's a pizza shop. They want their client to be able to see what products they have, so view my menu. Now that might be on their website, but everyone creates their website differently. Every company out there creates their website the way they think it looks great. Well, that's wonderful, but as a new user, I have to learn it when I go to it. And if I want to order a pizza or see their menu, somewhere in a button, in a drop down, and it might be a button that says About Us, might be the feature to see their menu. I don't really want to go through all that. So, I always view InPhone as a launch pad. In other words, I'm taking off here and I'm landing right there, and I want to do it quickly. So what are those 3, 4, 5 things that your client wants their client to do? If you're talking to a pizza shop owner, they want them to view their menu. They want them to maybe view specials. They want them to be able to order. And if they're coming to pick up the pizza, directions to their location. And of course, we provide that in the Google Maps GPS directions. So what are those things that are important? If you're an auto dealer, it might be different. It might be view our new vehicle inventory, view our used, apply for financing, schedule service, connect with the parts department, whatever it is, whatever your client thinks are those important things. And again, going back to the path to doing business, what are those important things that they want to provide their client easy access to? So those are those buttons that are after the contact methods. And then the last ones can be a button that goes to their social media page, or maybe a LinkedIn specifically if it's an individual business professional or company that wants that. It could be, again, directions to the business itself. It could be Google reviews or Yelp review or whatever, wherever they think that they want potential clients to view kind of their history of performance. So that's what the buttons are for. And 12 has been kind of the standard of it, kind of fits every business. Some businesses need more. Some want 15 or 18 or 21. We really don't care. But if it gets to be too many, then clients are scrolling down to see additional buttons, and it may or may not be too much. I would advise you to talk to your client about what's best for them, and then you take it from there with them. So that's the buttons itself, and a couple other things I want to talk about is we've added some new features. And the reason I really want to talk about these is I mentioned early on that we reviewed and actually kind of patterned ourselves early on after a digital business card. I would encourage you to get into your vocabulary that, I'm going to send you my InPhone. Don't say digital business card, don't say card. And the reason is people then think, well, there's other digital business cards options out there. Heck, some are free. But they sure don't offer what InPhone does. And we've worked hard to differentiate ourselves so that we offer features and benefits that just aren't out there. And we're really starting to create our own niche. So I would encourage you just to use the term InPhone. I'm going to send you my InPhone. And that's going to do one or two things. People are going to go, okay, or what's an InPhone? What a great opportunity to tell them what InPhone is. So if you can get that terminology used, I would encourage you to do it. I've been doing it for months now, and it's just so easy. So that's one thing that I would ask all of you to do. As I said, we've added a few features, and I just want to talk to you real quick about those. If you have a client that does not want to expose their personal phone number, they want to use their smartphone to do business, but they don't want to expose their personal phone number. On the button that says call me, where it would normally, when somebody clicks it, it shows their personal phone number and then it calls the person's smartphone. We actually can disguise that where we can have the client, it immediately calls our 800 number and then forwards to their smartphone without exposing their number. That's something we can do, and it's a pretty easy thing to do. So if you have a client that's really worried about that, we do have that feature, and we can easily make any changes and do that for any existing clients you have that have brought that up. Now, what that would do is probably prevent them from wanting a text me button, because that's going to bring up their personal cell phone number. So again, that's up to you and your client. But now with the one new feature we have called text chat, that's something where if they add that and that gets into a higher price and that becomes part of our executive or elite model, when they click the text chat button, that client is not getting any information about a personal cell phone number, but it puts your client and their client in a private chat together that they're texting back and forth. I would encourage you to learn a lot about that product because it's something that is going to be a game changer for you as you're talking to clients. It's a HIPAA compliant product. So if any of you are talking to doctors or even attorneys, anybody that wants to keep conversations private, and as importantly, companies that may want to see those conversations and store them in their back office or on their system, TextChat has that ability. So let's say you're a doctor and the hospital system wants to see what are you saying with your patient. God forbid we get sued down the road, and we would have to subpoena the doctor's personal cell phone records to see what is he or she saying to that patient that got them in trouble. With the case of TextChat, those conversations can occur, but they also can immediately be stored on the back office of the hospital system. And that's true with an auto dealership or anybody else that you're doing business with. That's an added charge, so that's something that you could talk to us about if you have a client interested in that. But the text chat feature itself is a great thing to have, because when somebody clicks that button, it immediately alerts your client, the InPhone user, that somebody wants to chat with them. A text message goes to them immediately with a live link, and as soon as they click it, they're in that chat together. So that's something that I would encourage you to learn a lot about, because it's a great feature that not only is going to allow you to deal with a whole different client base and get them interested in InPhone. Obviously, it's going to add to your commission, but again, it's a product that differentiates us from a standard digital business card. The next thing we added is video chat. And of course, there's video chat options out there, from Zoom to FaceTime and so forth. But, and again, this goes back to us listening to our clients. I happen to live in South Carolina, and I had a call about 8 months ago from a realtor who's a client who said, they have a lot of people trying to move here to South Carolina from the north. When it gets cold up there, everybody wants to move south. But the problem they were having is that they had an iPhone, and their client in, let's say, New Jersey had an Android. So they couldn't FaceTime each other because those two devices don't talk to each other. They weren't friends on Facebook yet or anything like that, so they couldn't use that service. The realtor ultimately had to go and create a Zoom link, which they'd never done before, and send it to the client and hope that they both figured out how to do that. Anyway, she called me and said, can you solve that? We looked at some options out there, and there were options, but we weren't happy with the quality of the service or the price, frankly. One of the things that we pride ourselves on is having a very effective product, but also an economical product that anyone can afford. So I wasn't happy with either of the options that were currently out there. We did now find a company who does excellent video chat services. It connects InPhone to InPhone on any type of device. So your client, if they have a video chat on their InPhone, as long as their client has their InPhone on their device, they both just hit video chat, and the video chat button that's on the standard buttons right here, and the InPhone user, your client, hits host because it's their InPhone, they're the host, and their client hits guest, and they're on there together in a private video chat. It's a one-on-one chat. The quality is excellent, and it solves the problem. And again, it's a huge feature when you're talking about realtors, auto dealers, furniture stores, anybody that's showing a product. A realtor can walk around an entire home, outside, anywhere, and video chat with their client, and it doesn't matter what devices they're using. So it's a huge advantage that you have, ultimately, that InPhone has, that again differentiates us from other products out there. The one thing that we did with our middle-of-the-road product called the Executive is we give you and your client the option to choose. Do they want text chat or video chat? And that's up to them to get that middle-of-the-road product. The third product that we offer, and I'm going to circle back on this with the two premium models. The third product we offer now is encrypted file share. This is a big deal, especially for, let's go to attorneys and doctors and so forth. When you're sending, in the case of a doctor, patient files, for example, if you're not on the same system, firewall protected system, so to speak, and sharing a patient file with another office, maybe across town or another state, if you can't email that file because there's some HIPAA laws and some privacy things, in addition to some hacking issues that can occur. Believe it or not, there's a lot of doctors' offices that are still faxing medical records to other offices because there's not a great way to send files safely unless they're on the same system that's very well protected. What encrypted file share does, think about attorneys too, important attorney documents and so forth, taxes, whatever it is. So these are all use cases. But what encrypted file share does is it's very similar to the video chat where the user just opens up InPhone, and again, this can be on their computer system at their company. Because again, InPhone's a web-based product. So they can open up InPhone, and let's say Dr. Smith, his InPhone. So his office opens up his InPhone and hits send on the encrypted file share button. It's going to pull up the files on his computer system that can be attached to that, and it gets encrypted. The recipient, whether it's immediately or 3 hours later, can pull up his InPhone on their system and hit receive. And again, that end-to-end encryption works where the file is safely transferred and then put back together behind the safe firewalls and the things they've done to keep files safe on their computer system. That allows us to be a great solution for, in some cases, potential clients we really didn't have anything special to offer before. So those are some features that, again, differentiate us. They differentiate you from any competition. Ultimately, it differentiates your client from their clients, and gives them features that they couldn't have before. So I want to talk about encrypted file share. One other thing that comes as part of the executive or the elite models that we offer, the 249 or 299. So on the executive, if somebody chooses video chat or text chat, they also get encrypted file share as part of that. On our premium model, they get text chat and video chat plus encrypted file share. On our basic model, the 149 model, the Encore, it doesn't have any of those features. It has our standard InPhone features, but doesn't have text chat, video chat, or file share. So I think we've given you a great product to sell. Somebody recently, one of the reps said, this is the easiest product I've ever sold. The reason it's easy is if you understand our product, then obviously that's a huge advantage, and I really want you to understand what our product can do. But before you approach any client, you really have to understand who they are and what they do. Take 5 minutes, go to their website, and see what it is they do. Because while InPhone is good for any business professional in any industry, what's going to really attract and secure that customer is the special things that our product can do for them that they just can't do with any other product. So, let's say it's a landscaper. What are those things that are important to a landscaper in the way that they do business with their client? Is video chat important? Probably, because if they're talking to a client and they're at a current job, they can say, let me show you what I'm doing right now across town at a house similar to your layout with the landscape. If it's an attorney or a doctor, are they a good candidate for text chat and video chat? In the world of, unfortunately, COVID that was occurring, our product became even more of a viable solution because it allowed business professionals to continue to operate and do business at a distance, at a safe distance, and and interact with clients in a way that they really couldn't do with other products. So, who is it that you're about to approach? Please take 5 minutes and understand what it is that InPhone can do for them. Maybe it's a certain button that goes to a place that they don't talk about enough with their clients. I actually had an auto dealership, large one, be very surprised when we included a button on there that says a finance application. And they said, why did you create that for us? And we said, it's actually on your website. They had no idea that they had a button on their own website that took clients that they were able to fill out a finance application before they came into the dealership and look at a vehicle and know what they're qualified for. So please make sure that you understand who you're about to talk to, and then make sure that whatever you're talking about with InPhone, it's very relatable to them. Talk about the experience that they can provide their client that they currently just can't. Also talk about how important it is for them to share their InPhone and make it a habit. It's almost like if they had 1,000 business cards, paper business cards, if they're not handing them out every day, then what are they doing? They're not continuing to build their business for the future. With InPhone, it's the same thing. They have a free method to market themselves all over the world if they want to. They could be texting it to people, asking those people to send it to their friends. They can be emailing it, mass emails. they can be attaching it to any email they send out right below their signature as a button or as a note that says, click here to save my InPhone. I don't care if they call it a business card, whatever they want to call it. But that could be on every email they send out, regardless if it's you know, something that they're trying to promote their InPhone. It could be just standard business they're doing, but it can be on every email they send out. It can be on Facebook. They could send it to their friends on Facebook and ask them to send it to all their friends. Immediately, they could be in 1,000 phones out there in their region. Same thing with LinkedIn. It should be a link that they save on their LinkedIn page and ask everyone to click on it and save it. So, and again, we don't care if they share it 1,000,000 times. That's what it's for. So encourage them to build the habit. And if you're dealing with a client who has multiple employees using InPhone, like a realty agency or auto dealership or cosmetic reps or you name it, there's thousands of industries out there with multiple employees who would use it. Make sure that they encourage their employees to share it, because it's ultimately marketing the company. Is it marketing that employee? Yes. But ultimately it's marketing the company. One thing that you want to tell anyone, any business manager or owner that you're dealing with, if they're the decision maker for getting InPhone for all of their employees, this is a really key point that you want to talk to them about. Let's go back to an auto dealership, just because it's easy to talk about that right now. And that auto dealership might have 10% turnover in their sales force every year. So they might have 30 salespeople, and 3 of them generally are going to be leaving over the next year, and they're going to replace them. So let's say one of their sales representatives is Bob Smith. Bob has sold 400 cars this year, and he has given his InPhone, shared his InPhone with clients, every client that he sold a vehicle to. And Bob decides that the grass is greener at another dealership across town, and Bob leaves. Immediately, that dealership sends us an email and says, Bob Smith is no longer with us. We've replaced Bob with Mary Jones, and here's Mary's picture. Here's her email address with us. Here's her cell phone number if she's going to be using that to do business. And we immediately turn Bob Smith's InPhone into Mary's. Now, what's the great thing about that? The next time one of Bob's clients that he sold opens up his InPhone, it shows Mary, and it provides the information to continue to do business with the dealership, and they know who their new contact person is, and they have everything they need to continue to do business with the dealership in a seamless manner. That dealership is not buying 1,000 new business cards for Mary because Bob's are now obsolete. So it's a really great feature to talk to companies about, that when they have turnover, we immediately turn that InPhone over to their new representative, and it stays live on all of the phones that was previously shared with. That's a huge deal. So make sure that you bring that up. There's a lot of things that I would encourage you to think about before you approach a customer. And I got caught in this trap early on where I thought, well, InPhones for any industry, I can just go talk about how easy it is to click a button and go to their Facebook page or whatever. Unless you are providing a real world example and something specific to them and their industry, it's not quite as exciting for them. So make sure that you understand their business and talk about the 2 or 3 buttons that you think they should have that are important to for them to do business with their client. There's other things that InPhone can do that are unique to our product. One of them, and it's very important, is that your clients can build their own referral system. So there's companies out there, and there's networking companies out there like BNI and other companies where business professionals meet and they're all helping each other to share referrals. InPhone can do that for them. On the bottom of, for additional buttons on their InPhone, if they add 6 extra buttons in addition to their 12, those buttons can go to other professionals that they generally refer, or maybe it's a friend. So if I'm a landscaper, I'm going to refer my favorite realtor. So that button on there that is now on my InPhone as a landscaper might say, need a realtor? And then their client clicks it and they go to the realtor's InPhone. And the realtor can do the same thing. Need a landscaper? So you can start, you can tell your clients that they can build their own personal referral system so that every time they open up, or that their client opens up an InPhone, they're seeing 6 other business professionals that are being referred, and more importantly, 5 other business professionals are now referring your client if they're using InPhone also. That's a great feature to talk to any customer about. So between the special ways that we have to have our product saved and used because it's not an app, and shared because it can go across any platform, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, text, emails, whatever, to text chat that is HIPAA compliant and hides someone's personal phone number, to video chat where you don't have to have the same devices to be able to have a private video chat with someone, to encrypted file share where things can be shared and transferred safely, to the referral system, to the promotional area up on top, and to our pricing that is economical for anyone. There's just every reason for you to be successful selling InPhone, and we're thrilled to be able to be partnering with you to do this. We're here to support you. So I really thank you for your time. I thank you for partnering with us, and if you need anything, please reach out to us. And if you have a suggestion, we always want to hear it, because we want to make your experience selling our product and your client's experience using our product as best as it can be. Thank you so much.